All right. Hello, everyone. Greetings. My name is Saul David Ray, and this is Soul Sessions Podcast, episode number 3. And I was feeling hesitant, for a little while now, actually. It's been a while since the last episode, and quite honestly, I've been in a time of a lot of reflection, taking time with family in nature, away from the matrix as much as possible. But I've had a lot brewing inside, and I wanted to go live today just because I really appreciate that interaction more. I tried to go on Facebook today, but for some reason, after about 30 or so minutes of trying, the Facebook Zoom connection wasn't working. So I thought I'd come here on the YouTube channel. So if you're coming by for a moment, I appreciate you being here. And I want to begin with, so the session today is just some reflections on truth. And I'll get more into that. And a perspective of our shared humanity today. And everyone is welcome here. This is not about any affiliation other than our humanity and creating together a world that works for everyone. And I really believe the great majority of people on planet Earth, the good people of the earth, that's what they want. No more war. They want the ability to live a life with enough freedom, enough abundance to share with their family, to have a peaceful and loving society, and to have the basic necessities of life. And we live in a world where we have that abundance. So it is possible. It's really about our consciousness, and that's how really I approach everything in my own life, and through that lens of consciousness. So I would like to begin, though, with just a moment of intentionality. And my invitation to you and to all of us is, in whatever way feels appropriate, just to flow inwards toward your own center, toward your own connection to life, to source, in whatever way you feel that. And take a breath and connect with that intention in your heart of peace, care for others. And just anchoring that in your heart and sending it out to everyone, to our leaders, and to all brothers and sisters. Om Shanti, Shalom, Salam, Peace, Amen. Thank you for doing that. So, truth. Let's start there. Just perhaps, there is no bigger topic. Many traditions have said God is truth. For millennia, we've had philosophy as a way to try and explain the great truth of existence, to understand the great mystery, our human condition, who we are, where we come from. And there are many views on that. And it seems that perhaps we will never agree as a human family, at least at this point in our journey, on what that absolute truth is. But it is possible to witness others' experience of that description, their sharing, and to have a mutual respect, as long as that truth doesn't impinge negatively on our reality or on others. So there's that big absolute truth, which Certainly, I don't think anyone can lay claim to that we're actually in a process, especially at this time, of uncovering the deeper truth of our condition, of our relationship to each other, and understanding in a deeper way really who we are as a species, as a family, and our shared common destiny. But that little T truth, so I call that first one the big T truth, right? That absolute truth. And we're all, in my mind, in my heart, we're all a part of that. We're an aspect of that one source, whatever we want to call it. But that little T truth is, as we go around the circle, as we make our journey through the earth school or around life, we have our seats in the circle and we're looking out, experiencing life through that moment in time, through our conditioning, through our understanding at that time, through our experience. And we see a certain view of life. And you know in your own life that I'm assuming that this would be true for most of us, that, as we have grown in life in our understanding, things that we thought were true before have fallen away as we came to realize that they weren't, or at least that there was a bigger truth. So as we're going around this circle and we're looking out, we're seeing our perception of reality in that moment. I have a little saying, the past never happened exactly the way we thought it did. Just ask the other person that was there. Very often in life, we can be in the same place as someone else and have a totally different experience of what's happening. In that seat, as we go around, we each have a blind spot. We have part that we're not seeing. And then we have things that we are seeing. Maybe I'm on this side of the circle and you're on the other side, and behind you is a mountain. And I see this incredible mountain that is there with you. And on my side, there's an ocean. And you see this ocean. And I say, there is a mountain here. And you say, no, there's an ocean. It's so important that we talk to each other, that we reflect. The neurologist turned podcast host, and really I've developed a nice appreciation for Sam Harris as a critical thinker, somebody being really open to deeper truth. Sam Harris said that, and I'm going to paraphrase slightly, that our world is a few successful, meaningful conversations away from chaos. And he might have said something even more, intense than that. And I really believe that. And as I've, in these last years especially, been opening my own mind and consciousness to different perspectives, because I really do believe that that one truth, that deeper truth, lives in all of us as our essence. And we can either connect with it and amplify to it, or we can disconnect from it. The possibilities are endless. But that is part of our nature. So we all have the ability to connect with that deeper knowing and to share it. And it is so important that we share it. So in my own journey, which has been primarily yoga and healing arts for many years, I've also begun to really look out and listen around the circle as much as I can. And I have friends all across the spectrum, both politically, but also religious and economic and cultural. And I really value that. And I value what can happen in deep, meaningful, soulful relationships and conversations. So here we are at a time, and this is the Friday before the 2020 election in the United States. And I'll be honest, my heart feels very heavy from so much of what I've been seeing on Facebook lately. Of course, there are some really beautiful things as well, but so I've been in and out of that and taking a lot of time alone and to reflect, especially being in nature where I find a lot of peace, and I feel like my own wisdom channel opens. But yeah, it's been really heavy to see people at each other. And I personally don't feel that any political party, any one group or institution has a monopoly on the truth. And often with that, there's agenda. And, you know, those agendas can be noble, certainly, and they can be ignoble. But this world that we are in is going to take enough of us. I would like to think it would take all of us, but it's going to take enough of us to, as John Lennon said, peace is here if you want it. To choose peace, to choose inclusivity. And, you know, we're at this really intense moment where everyone's feeling the pressure of what's happening in our world. And so, you know, let's lay out a couple of perspectives, views, right? Because I really watch and listen across the spectrum, and there are so many views from, you know, friends that are into the UFOs landing any moment, ascension, to completely practical views that won't entertain anything outside of exactly what we know in science as reality. So the kind of anti-conspiracy view, conspiracy view, there are people meditating and praying right now for everyone. There are people afraid. There are many groups blaming other groups of what's happened, what went wrong. And if we take a step back from that, and that's my invitation to you today, is to just see the play that's happening. The word the yogis used thousands of years ago is lila, the divine play, that everything in creation, in a sense, is a part of this drama, this unfolding. It's kind of like, you know, many people have used this metaphor of the helicopter. You know, it's like when you're down in the traffic or you're down in the weeds, we don't often see beyond what is right here. We could equate this with our reactive mind. But if you went up in a helicopter or you went up on a mountain and you looked down, which symbolizes the wisdom mind, you would see things very differently. At least with a greater vision of what's happening and then the infinite possibilities and experiences. And I know that, you know, there are many people all over the earth, from all faiths, from all cultures, who want peace, who care about the world we live in, the earth we live upon, who actually care for a beautiful, healthy environment, biosphere, and care for other people. And that power is what will really transform this world. When we are constantly divided through various ideologies, tribes, and, you know, maybe that's inevitable, I don't know. But tribes have come together. Tribes have had great councils. And for that world that we all believe is possible, we have to find a way to interact differently. For me, and this is just a personal thing, I don't want to make today about politics, but I see that the system that we are using of politics here in the US, I assume it's like many places, is inherently divisive. And some of my friends have said, well, that's just how it has to be because there are different viewpoints, and I do agree with that to a degree, but it also keeps us from talking to each other at many times, especially in this climate, in this environment. So I really don't care what your political views are in this moment. What I'm caring about and inviting is that we all, at least for some moment in this, shift back out of the fear, out of the blame, and shift into that place of a more altruistic place within us, of seeing the bigger picture, this incredible drama that's unfolding on the planet right now, that we're all a part of, that we're all in some way contributing to. There's a quote that I've shared often over the years because it's so powerful for me. It's from Buddha, who said, "Hatred never ceases by hatred, only by love alone does hatred cease. This is an eternal law." And I really believe that. No matter what our words are, no matter what our action is, the underlying energy that is coming forward through that has profound effect on what is being created. And many have said, and many believe, that we are all creating our world. Our world, our collective reality is being created through each of us. So in our bigger view for a moment, and even consider that, the life of people right now all over the planet, the average person who's taking care of their family, and especially in this time of COVID, trying to deal with that pressure and fear and find ways to support their family, their own life, their livelihood. So many people, as you know, are suffering in this time. This really is, I hear a lot about the silver linings and people's blessings that are coming forward during this time, which is amazing. Life always presents us with both challenges and blessings. But it is important to acknowledge the crisis that we're in. And whatever side you may fall on of how you're viewing that, just to acknowledge the suffering or challenges that others are going through and to have compassion for that. So just that view of seeing others in this incredible time that we're in. And to understand also that through time, humanity has been through many other challenges. We've been through plagues, we've been through wars, we've been through, natural disasters, calamities. But there's something incredibly unique about this time, because it really, perhaps it's the connectivity that because of the technology, we're all participating more or less at the same time. There's a collective attention field in the social media, in the media. Perhaps it's also the advancement of our technology that has really brought us to the brink of necessity of finding another way, because clearly the way that we're going is not sustainable. I was reflecting on this the other day, and you see, there's some different numbers I've seen out there. So this is a reflection on war and how unsustainable war is, whether it's war on another country, it's war on the environment, it's war on another person. War destroys life force. 3% of the United States military budget annually, it's been said, would end world hunger. I mean, imagine if every country contributed a little bit to really doing that. We have to ask ourselves, why has that not been done when it could be? Our consciousness of war is something that we can evolve beyond. And I really believe, as you know, many people, that this is our evolutionary challenge in this moment, to really see, with, you know, stop all the blaming and attacking, and get really real about our current condition, and to take responsibility for it in the way that we are guided to do that. Everyone is different. Expecting others to behave the same, think the same, be the same, or even see the same things, remember our seat in the circle, is not possible. And thank God, because diversity is nature, diversity is life. There's so much to all of this, but you understand what I'm moving towards. And this is really, to me, the only way out of this forest of reaction, this blame and action-reaction that's happening. So how we do that, how we all do that, is really unique to our own, what we would say as dharma in the yoga tradition. But dharma is the truth of your being. It's the evolution of your own life. So there's a Svadharma, which is your own experience of that, and then the big truth, the big unfolding, literally the momentum of the universe, that which is holding everything. It's a big idea. But we're all a part of that. And if we really are going to evolve beyond this madness, then we have to find a way to do that. And I don't really know honestly what that is. That's my own self-reflection, and part of that is knowing that I don't want to contribute to more hate, to more polarization, to more blame, to more of the same. And yet I've been in really, and I'm in now, I will say, challenging situations that really require a deeper stand for truth. So my hope is that, we can all unplug from a moment from the algorithms of division, the algorithms of blame and negativity, and to consider our common humanity. And I want to share one other thing that I've been reflecting on lately. Some of you will know of the spiritual teacher Ram Dass, who passed last December. I had the fortune of spending time with him different times, and one of the stories that I came to know directly from him of his own life. So he had a very famous Indian guru, for those of you that don't know, whose name was Neem Karoli Baba, or Maharaji is called. And Ram Dass, at a certain point, was reflecting on his guru's teachings. And one of those teachings that was given to him was to love everyone and to tell the truth. So imagine the simplicity of that statement and the profound challenge within it. Love everyone and tell the truth. And Ram Dass thought of, who in that moment do I not love? And this is the early 2000s, the year. And the first person that came to his mind was then the current president, George W. Bush. And so he took a picture of George W. Bush, put it on his altar, and it's a longer story, but he began, so the altar, right, is really a place of our sacred connection. It's meaningful in that way. It's like a portal back to our own spirit essence, to what is sacred in our life in this world. And he had pictures of many saints and sacred objects. And then over here on the end is George Bush. And he, at first, just couldn't quite even, could essentially acknowledge that George was here. And then after a time, he was able to, recognize and honor even more that George was here. And at a certain point, he realized that he could still love the soul without agreeing with or even liking the personality. Ram Dass was embodying and practicing one of the greatest spiritual truths that there is. To recognize the same essence in everything and everyone, and to be able to love, care, and pray for that form, whether we agree with it or not. And I know that this is maybe a challenging thing to reflect on, and I wouldn't bring this forth had I not been practicing it myself. But whoever that person or people are right now, and maybe it's not political, maybe it's somewhere else, that you really feel is other, that you have a polarity towards, a negative polarity, that maybe there's even blame, hatred. Is it possible to bring that into your loving presence? So as I've been reflecting on this and practicing this, I'm including, key politicians on both sides. I'm including people from my past that I've had challenges with. I'm also including everyone. It's like a moment of, in my own prayer, and so maybe it'll be different for you, but it's really about just getting into that space of love that is within all of us, of compassion, and saying, I love you. Maybe we can't say that yet. Maybe it's something else. But just acknowledging at least their divine essence, wishing them well, praying for them. I mean, to bring it to the idea of leaders in the world right now, I'm pretty sure that all of our leaders would benefit from more healing energy, more love in their life, in their experience, in their own bodies, in their families, and more compassion, because really that's what love is, and empathy towards other beings, not just perhaps the group that got them elected. You see how important this is? At least at a deeper spiritual level, to not allow ourselves to become programmed by the hate, by the division. And yet, how can we also dance in this drama, this play of life as it's unfolding? You know, I mean, to me, that's really the essence of all of this, is to experience the deeper truth of who we are and what life is, and keep letting it unfold, and still be in this personal relationship to all of that individual life, and keep finding ways to integrate self, inner self, and outer self. So there's a beautiful quote which I've had in my consciousness for some years now. I wanted to share with you today. As above, so below. As below, so above. As without, so within. As within, so without. As the universe, so the soul. And that is attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, the founder of the Hermetic wisdom tradition. But it immediately points toward exploration of the connection between all things. And this is what the moment we start looking deeply into life, we see that life is interrelated. So one more time: as above, so below. As below, so above. As within, so without. As without, so within. As the universe, so the soul. Our great hope for this world is in consciousness. It is in the consciousness of the people awakening to our shared humanity, our shared earth, shared resources, shared future. The consciousness of war, as in the military, industrial, agricultural, pharmaceutical, media complex, because it is all related, interrelated, that's not sustainable. And the consciousness of our earth, of this planet, is all of us. When you meditate, when you pray for everyone, when you focus on peace, you are creating more of that in the world. So I think that's it for today. You know, how do we all create together a better world? So I'll leave you with this. What is it that you think the world needs more of right now? And you can speak that out loud. You can share that, write it down, or consider it. And then be it. Just figure out a way in the flow of your life, in the drama, the unfolding, the lila of your life, to be that. To be, as Gandhi said, be the change that you wish to see in the world. And you can really connect with that as an energy form. Let's say, you know, it's compassion. I mean, that's a key one for me. And listening. But let's go with compassion. So just, you know, how can I bring more compassion and care into the world in simple ways? And allowing that to be the energy, the principle, the quality, the value that I live by. You know, we're all human. We're all painfully human sometimes. We all make mistakes. We have learning to do. We all have some part of ourselves hidden away. Life is actually the journey of discovery. Life actually is the unfolding of the soul here in this earth school. Who is born knowing everything? No one. That's why we go to school. But who graduates knowing everything? You know. So there's great power in that, in practicing that. We have a very deep truth for our humanity to uncover now. And that truth is through you and through me and through everyone. And the more this outer environment is war, we create that war. All right. So thank you for, I don't want to go on too long today, but thanks for tuning in. I'm here at the kitchen table, and I'll do more of these, but I appreciate your support. And if you resonated with this today in any way, please leave me a comment or just let me know what your experience is. And feel free to share it with your friends, or connect with me somehow. So wishing everyone health and peace and prosperity from my heart to yours, and for all people, and for the great abundance in this beautiful earth that we live upon, to share with each other and to create that consciousness of blessing and prospering each other and all of our sisters and brothers. That is the great invitation. And the great practice is living life from your deeper soul, from your wisdom, from your highest self. So I'm wishing you a blessed day, evening, and thank you so much.